Good morning, beloveds. It is hot and sticky and damp out there. We're scheduled to have thunderstorms tomorrow, so yeah, the weather's some kind of interesting. I don't know. It's going to be almost 80, if not 80 degrees today, and it is January. The heck? All right. So our title today is The Peaceful Partner. Our first quote is, "The Lord will give strength unto its people. The Lord will bless its people with peace." And that is Psalm 29:11. The second quote is, "If our thought is as unsullied as the mind of God, if we are recognizing our oneness with God, we cannot pray for other than good for all people." Science of Mind, page 151. While it is true that we are all citizens of a particular country and members of a certain cultural or ethnic group, each flavored with the stamp of our unique backgrounds, we need to remember that we are also members of a single human family. God created lovely beings and breathed its own divinity into each one. We were given the capacity to dream and to aspire, to interact with the unity that is creation, and to see ourselves as part of the whole. Somewhere along the way, however, we may have begun to see ourselves as different or better than others. I believe in our hearts we all know who we are spiritually and how much of God we are, whenever we may find ourselves in this moment, wherever we may find ourselves in this moment. If we choose to, we can express more fully the peaceful partnership of those who share one mind in the joy, beauty, and love of this earth. Let us make this choice. God created all that is, and I daily use divine wisdom in all that I think, say, and do. I am unified in love and wisdom with all people everywhere. I honor our diversity, but I yearn for our true oneness as the people of God, guardians of the earth. I accept us all as wise choice makers, seeing only the good, lovely, and life-giving. I am grateful and at peace. And that is MS, Margaret Stortz. And she just used a word in there. I think one of the things that has gotten us into a whole lot of trouble oftentimes, and I'd be interested to go back and see what it really was in the original language. She used the word guardian, okay? Protector. I like to use the word steward, although that can have an interesting flavor. Because what the word that I think that has gotten us into a whole lot of trouble is dominion. Now, 100 years ago or 200 years ago, dominion may have meant something different. But what it means now is control over. It puts us above life. And I remember going to school when they used to do, in science class, the charts where they would put human at the pinnacle of evolution, or the pinnacle of, the genus family charts. I think you know what I'm talking about, even though I can't remember the word. And lately I've been seeing a new one, where instead of having the pyramid with the human at the top, what they've started doing is putting all of life in a circle and putting humanity either in the middle or, kind of off to one side, to remind us, one, we are not the pinnacle of evolution, and two, all life is important. It's like when we snuff out one species, it has a domino effect. And so what Margaret is reminding us is that in our spirit, and I like that she says she believes that we know this in our spiritual nature, which means when we take the time to go and do our regular spiritual practice and connect with the source of our own being, then what we are doing is we are connecting with all life. We are reminding ourselves that we are part of something bigger than us. And that while, yes, we are very important, everything else is important too. All life is important. So it behooves us to act as the guardian or the steward of life. It behooves us to make choices that are good for life, not our life, but life in general. And that which is one of the reasons why I'd like to go back and see the original translation from that line in, or the original language, and see what that word was in Genesis, that made us stewards of the earth, which is why I choose to use stewards of the earth instead of giving us dominion. Languages shift and change. So, it's just like when you look at the lesson that I learned, and I forget which class it was, but Reverend Jesse reminded us that when the Jews talk about being the chosen people, they were not chosen to be elevated above all other people. They were chosen to do a task. They were chosen to help heal the world. You want to be the chosen of God? Your job is to be a healer. Let that fly in the face of, everything else that religious people like to get on TV and tell us. You want to be the chosen of God? Then your task is to heal. And that's what Margaret is talking about. Her title is The Peaceful Partner. It's the reminder that we are members of a single human family, but more importantly than that, we are members of life. We share in common that every living thing, whether it, walks on 2 legs or 4 legs or 6 legs or 100 legs, or doesn't walk at all because, trees, it's all life, and it all has the same divine spark. Life all came from the same source. So when we talk about being siblings in life, our siblings all look all kinds of things. And that's one of the things that I love about Science of Mind, is the recognition that we all come from the same source, that all life is that divine spark, and that we celebrate the diversity. We recognize the oneness, but we recognize that there is not uniformity in that oneness. We recognize that diversity and celebrate it. Celebrate it. That's what makes life interesting, is the differences. So I'm trying to, because she says, I believe in our hearts, we all know that who we are spiritually and how much of God we are. So if you want a mission, today, the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to know who we are spiritually. I mean, that's the assignment that Jesse gave us last summer. To know who we are spiritually and how much of God we are. And I think that's one of those things. Well, is this little bit of me God? No. All of me is God. All of you is God. All life is God. And it takes all of us to make up a whole, and yet God is bigger than that. God is bigger than that. I like to say that we are divine sparks, but I also occasionally will remind myself by saying that we are divine splinters. Because in the grand scheme of things, we're so tiny. And yet that amazing power flows through us. So that is your mission today, to know who you are spiritually, and how much of you is God. How much of you is God? And then recognize the same about every other being that you come in contact with. How much of them is God? Well, all of them is God as well. And together we make up this divine whole, and yet still God is bigger than that. And it's mind-blowing. And that's a good thing. All right. So thank you, Margaret Stortz. All right. So then the second part is the spiritual practice of doing something loving for yourself, doing something kind for yourself, doing something compassionate for yourself. It is a spiritual practice. Absolutely promise you that it is. It is about self-care. It is also about making room for joy. So it can look like taking a deep breath before you speak. It can look like taking a nap. It can look like taking a walk. What it can also look like is eating dessert first, because let me remind you that I do say to make sure that what I'm working on this year is don't save the good stuff. So eat dessert first, because you never know. So don't save the good stuff. And I do encourage you to practice on yourself, because you are your own best test subject. You get immediate feedback. But more importantly than that, you deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. If we talk about who we are spiritually, then we are beloved children of God. We deserve love, kindness, and compassion. Practice on yourself. All right. I also encourage you, as I always do, to do something to engage your mind and your body. Please drink plenty of water. Hydration is important. Your brain will work better when it is hydrated. I encourage you to get early in your day bright light. I am talking about circadian rhythms here. That is about hormone balance. If you get that early in your day bright light, and I do encourage you to get sunlight if it's available, but it's completely cloudy here. There is no sun, so I'm all about the artificial light as well. It'll help to reset those circadian rhythms. You'll have more energy during the day. You'll sleep better at night. It's science. You can look it up. And as always, in the words of Ernest Holmes, open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around us all the time. So if today what we're working on is knowing who we are spiritually and knowing how much of us is God, that is what we're talking about. Opening the windows of our soul, allowing that idea of who we are and who each other is. I mean, that's going to be soul blasting. Let's just blast that soul open and go, okay. So everybody whose eyes I meet, I'm going to look at them and see God looking back at me. And I'm going to see a beloved child of God in front of me. You want to open your soul, that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to take Emma Curtis Hopkins' advice, look for the good and praise it. And I am a big believer in looking at the little good and the big good and adding it all up together. So there you go. All right. So here's the social media part where I remind you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I am the Running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I'm on. Please feel free to go like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. It helps our numbers and it helps us get seen a little bit more when people do that kind of stuff. So there's that. If you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That will get you on the constant contact. The hot links are hot. They will either take you, when it says click here now, it will take you either right to the information you want or to the person who can help you get the information you want. So please avail yourself of that resource as well. We do have a really amazing soul session coming tomorrow that will be on Facebook Live around 7 p.m. Central. I'm very excited about this. I absolutely love Cleopatra, and I know this is going to be amazing. She just recently graduated from nursing school as a labor and delivery. Her goal is a birthing center. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So please check that out. It'll be on Facebook Live at 7 p.m. And then as soon as it's over, I download it and then upload it to YouTube. So you have two opportunities to see it. And in the constant contact, the click here now for the soul session takes you right to the soul sessions. So I'm very proud of that playlist. The soul sessions are amazing. Don't get me wrong. Reverend Jesse is fantastic. All of his stuff is great. And there are playlists from every other speaker that we've got, since we started doing this. The soul sessions are really special. Okay. I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a peaceful day, a know who you are day, measure yourself day in how much of you is God. Here's the hint, all of you. A check yourself out day, seeing everyone as a child of God, a knowing that you are a guardian of life day, recognizing your stewardship day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, a magical day, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough just as you are. As I have said before and will continue to say, you are a beloved child of God. You are a divine spark. You are a brilliant light. You are God in action. You are spirit in motion, in whom God is well pleased and well represented. That is who I know you to be. So, I have faith. I have faith. All right, beloveds. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself and know that you are loved. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.